we're going to get going on our all options open. 2 characters. And at least one of them is guaranteed to be a multi-class character. How's this going to end up? Only one way to find out, huh? Let's open up our dice roller. Oh yeah, Bubonic, I know you've been playing for a while. Starting off nice and easy, a simple percentile roll, right? You got to get the wrist warmed up, and then you got to get that nice snap, right? When you toss the dice, you got to get that snap. Do any of you do anything interesting? Like, do you kind of roll them around and kind of like ninja star them? Like that? Do you just give them the general, like, three swirls and let them go? Do you give them that hard snap? Do you use a dice tower? I'd love to know the different ways that you, the ways or superstitions that you employ with your dice. All right, percentile says 84. We have a male character almost to the multi-class, so we know for sure character numero 20 is going to be a multi-class character. So we have a male character, and we have 35 races. 35 races to choose from. Yeah, don't roll metal dice on a glass table, please. Even wooden ones, it can dent the wood. Let's manufacture a 35-sided die. Just like that. Nice and easy. Hit roll and find out. Among 35 races, what do we have? 3. Number 3. We have another Bugbear. Very interesting. This apparently this story was meant to happen, that we just have a Bugbear on a mission in a manuscript. A very sexy Bugbear. All right, so we have a male Bugbear. We're going to use the balanced, right? So it's equal, or as equal as we can. Nearly equal odds for all the alignments. And let's roll a percentile, and 77. A lawful evil male Bugbear. We're going to generate this character at level. We rolled a 95. A level 20. Whew, doggies. All right. Male Bugbear. Level 20. We're a medium-sized creature. Who is lawful evil. This is going to open up 5 ability score improvements, ASIs or stat bumps. I'm going to roll a percentile set, and we're going to figure out if any of those are going to be replaced by feats. 33, we're all natural, baby. Organic, homegrown Bugbear. Next up, what is our background going to be? We have 62 backgrounds available. 62. I'm excited. Here we go. The finger's going to the mouse. Ah! The cursor is moving closer. And of the 62 options, we have rolled a 15. Another criminal. Another criminal. Interesting. Third Falcon. Hello. Not another spy. This one's more. This one's a criminal, not just a spy. But we have a criminal Bugbear and a spy. No wait, the spy was the Furbolg. Yeah, it was the Furbolg that was the spy. All right. And criminal, well, since we have this, let's go over here. Criminal, and then there are 8 different varieties of criminality. We're going to roll a d8, then 2d8, then 3d6 to flesh out their placeholders for the background of this character. So we have 1, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3. 1, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3. 1, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3. Very good. The randomizer is right now not for use outside of the channel, as it's being tested. Like, this is the first week that we're using it. That said, Wyatt, the spreadsheet that I had been using for over a year on the channel before what you see up here is on the Discord. And if you go to Discord and check the pinned messages under Table Talk, which is our general chat channel, you can find that file. Now, it doesn't have everything loaded. It takes into consideration the player's handbook and the DMG, the core books. Though, if you follow the methodology, it's not difficult at all to say, you know what, I'm going to open up, I'm going to say Volos, and suddenly you roll a 13-sided die, or the equivalent if you have physical dice, in order to get a random Volo race. A play test, stress test maybe? Things to see if any interactions might, or any data entry was off. In fact, last night it was noticed there were 2 entries for the Storm Sorcerer, and that's because there are 2 entries for Storm Sorcerer. And so depending on the supplements that you are opening up inside of this character builder, you could possibly get a Storm Sorcerer in 2 different places. And so I thought that might have been a duplicate at first, until it was located in each of those places. Is the randomizer like anything like the Heat Miser? No, not quite. It's not stop motion. All right. Classes. Well, there's still only 12 classes, unless you poke into the Unearthed Arcana for an Artificer or the like. I'm gonna roll this big golden D12, and we're gonna find out which class this character is, and based on that, there's another die we can roll to determine the subclass. And here we go. Four, a Druid. All right. You know what? I actually did find an error. If we open up, because this is a collaboration with D&D Time, technically D&D Time has a subclass for druids and for monks. So this will have to be a button. This is why we're looking for errors. So there should be one more option for druids, which is the Trash Druid, the Circle of Trash. Which is it's about ruins and the like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a d6, and if we get a 6, we're going to go into that that supplement information, because we do have all official printed stuff open, and we're also considering D&D Time because I wanted to open this up as a fun collaboration, because Trustaflumph, aka Jeremy, is the one who helped the old spreadsheet evolve into the awesomeness that you see here before you. A lawful evil druid, yes indeed. There's a garbage druid in Minsk also, I seem to recall. I don't know what you're talking about, Roger. And our D6 tells us number 2, a circle of the land. Whew. You know, all options are open. All options are open, and we're still getting a tried and true Matty Morg's core rulebook character. But you know what? It was meant to be, everyone. It was meant to be. Oh yeah, Minkskin Boo. Okay, yeah. A quasi-official thing that just came out through Adventures League. Interesting. And lastly, because, well, actually, you know what? As a druid, we do get a class feature for Circle of the Land. We're going to roll a d8 and figure out which of these circles, the bonus spells, are going to be available to us from this druid. D8, 4. Forest. A lawful evil male bugbear, Circle of the Land druid focusing on the forest. And you know what? We're already on Bugbear, which, by the way, look at this. All the races, and all you have to do is select the one from the pull-down menu here. But we're already on Bugbear, and so let's roll a percentile to find out where in this character's life we're at. We rolled a 40, so we have an adult Bugbear, and that's going to be 15 plus 1d20 years, and that is in the adult phase. 17. So 15 and 17 is going to be 32. An adult Bugbear, 32 years old. Bugbear's base height is 6 feet. This, by the way, this changes also depending on the race. 6 feet tall, 2d12 for a height modifier. 10. So 6'10". We're gonna roll 2d6 for a 6. Multiply that by the 10. So we're adding 60 pounds to the base weight of 200. So he is 260 pounds. Bugbears don't look like bugs nor bears. You are correct, Black Wolf. Bugbears are boogeymen. And now the need for this has expired. We have all of the placeholders to form our character, right? We've pulled this silhouette from the ether, from the maximum potential of anyone who could exist. And this is the character that we have of all the options. Now, let's find the character of our character. Let's fill in the silhouette. Let's explore who he is, how he makes his decisions. What was his lifestyle? How did he come to be the type of criminal he is and go on to become a forest druid? An evil bugbear druid sounds like a dangerous mini-boss, says Third Falcon. We'll find out just how dangerous this character is. Well, here we have it. What we need, with the exception of Volo's guide for Bugbear stats. But we're going to get there. If any of you are new here, or if you're newer, the way that I construct the characters is by exploring their backgrounds first. I want to know who our character is. Because the ancillary details of knowing we have a male Bugbear, or a Druid of any variety, aren't as important as knowing this formative part in our life. Because a female high elf Oathbreaker paladin could still do the things that this character has done with the background, with life. You know, a genderless warforged bard could still do these things. So I want to know who our character is. I'm not hung up on the race and the class right now, because that could be applied anytime. But this is a formative moment in this character's life. And I want to know these details. Who is our character? How does he think? Why does he think the things that he does? What are his behaviors? Right? This character exists because of a set of circumstances has led to this point. Let's take a look. Man, Coffee is on a tear with the minis. Criminals. Let's see. After Charlatan, here we are. Class, do you have your player's handbooks ready? Open up to page 129, class. Come on. The class is in session. The professor is here. Not at work. Gracie, you should always carry dice in your player's handbook on you. Excuses are the nails to build the house of failure, Gracie. You're welcome to it, Derek. All right, as a criminal, I have the PDF in my cloud and a dice roller app. Does that count? You're too clever by half. I'll allow kids these days in 2019 with their electronic books. Never you mind, I'm using a PDF and streaming D&D on Twitch. We are good at deception and stealth. We are proficient in a type of gaming set and thieves' tools. Gaming set and thieves' tools. Equipment, a crowbar. And as we're developing this character, if you think of a name for, look, it's my belief criminals should name their crowbars. You know, if warriors name their swords and axes, because that's a tool of their trade, a criminal should name their crowbar, because it puts in work and it can really help save a person's life. So we have a crowbar, a set of dark clothes with a hood, a belt pouch, and 15 gold pieces. Because we're used to holding a dagger and kind of going up to someone and saying your GP or your HP. Big Blue, Clarice, Therese, Richard Pryor, Jimmy, Lucille. Okay, Jimmy's pretty good. I'm curious, Big Blue, what is the What's the compulsion behind that? Coffee Cat likes the name Jimmy. Welcome back, Joe. It's good to see you. All right, our criminal specialty, we rolled a 1. And on the chart here, this means that we are a blackmailer. Ooh. Ooh. Or as James from Team Rocket would say, ooh. I think that was a little bit more throaty. Ooh. There you go. A little higher and tighter for the James ooh. Old school crowbars were painted blue. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. A blackmailer. All right. Oh, and our background feature is a criminal contact. So we may still be a criminal, or if we're retired, we still know people in the business. This is a very good background feature, and if you play a criminal, use it. Oh, you could do all sorts of stuff with this. This is very powerful, also, I shall say. But yeah, this is you can pass messages. You might be able to catch catch a whiff of what's happening in the underbelly of some place or another. You could probably use the contact as a fence. You know, if you're not a fence yourself, like if you didn't roll option number 4, this criminal contact can be one or more of the other options that exist above. You know, discuss this with your DM. Look, by the nature of this background existing, let's pretend we're DMs here, and our player character handed us this character sheet. We have automatically had an NPC created, I mean, at least a slot for it, that acts as a direct hook to this character, and quite possibly an organization or 2 that are also direct or indirect hooks for the character. Your world is being fleshed out by the existence of your player character. Your friends, your players, are doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Automatically, I have a reason to use my Xanathar mini. Hey, Gaming Zeta, welcome. How have your sessions been going, Gaming? I haven't been able to stop by and say hi. But I do see that you're still rolling your Zelda 5e games, and I hope they're going really well for you. A modern crowbar is truly a frightening piece of equipment. Black Wolf wants to name it Rusty, and McFluffy Muffin likes that. That's great, Zeta. All right, now, what else? What other homework is our player providing to us as the Dungeon Master? All right? The personality traits, the ideal bond and flaw. These are going to produce more content for us. So we don't have to sit there and wiggle and squirm and go, I don't know, what should I do? What exists in the area? Well, if this character exists, the methods and means have to be in place to produce the character. And so if we just take a step backwards through the character sheet, we are world building. Yeah, the bonds certainly do, Gracie. All right, personality trait number 1. I always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong. The fire department wouldn't let you buy a Halligan tool. Is that kind of like a Jaws of Life sort of thing? Flaws can, but at the same time, remember that everyone has a flaw, and that includes NPCs and villains. So while it can create danger, it can also be exploited for good or bad. And you know what? We have a blackmailer. So we actually have, think of this, Third Falcon, going off of what you just said, a blackmailer has a whole extra sense of danger. Because a blackmailer goes for the exploitation. A blackmailer finds the flaws and pressures people based on their flaws. You know, we could talk about being a level 20 druid all we want, but we have someone who can wield a dagger. Sure, a physical one, but can do more damage or get more people killed with a little bit of information. You know, Varys in Game of Thrones often spoke of having little birds to whisper things in his ear. And you know what a level 20 druid has to try and get dirt on people because he's a blackmailer? Little birds. Can you imagine the information network a druid possesses? Yeah, literal birds. Yep, Varys the spider, right? You have a player character with a ton of character flaws? Did they just want to load up on it, or what was how did you obtain more? Bubonic says it's a specialized crowbar. Well, I mean, if it does things that, you know, they don't want tracked back, then I can understand. Need an arachnid race. You know what? Pete and Jeremy have you covered, Derek, with their entothropes. It is a bug race. And they have, right here, spider. Got you covered, brother. Bada boom. I mean, so it's not official printed, but if you trust Pete and Jeremy to put something out there, then it could be a good start. And if you want to explore that, all you have to do is click on that, and hey howdy, wouldn't you know, there's a PDF. This actually happened to me. A crazy druid used birds to spy on my D&D team and attack our druid and my character when we were separated from everyone else. Yes. Look, we may often think of druids as, oh, you know, we're, you know, peace-loving hippies. They just want to live in the forest and eat grass and, you know, talk to chipmunks. Druids can be super scary because druids are supernatural. And, you know, you're having the conversation above that, you know, nature can be scary, yo. Nature can be cruel. You have someone who is able to control the, you know, or modify the process of evolution, can awaken animals and plants. Someone who's able to speak to grass, not even non-sentient grass. You know, you think you have a secret? The druid, if there's a druid tracking you, I mean, not only could they be really good at that, the druid could talk to a tree, and the tree's like, yeah, one of the people relieved themselves on me just the other day, and I'll tell you, he was drunk as a skunk, because there's alcohol in it. And, you know, and get all these clues and get all of, you know, all of this information on you and treat you just like a predator hunting prey. Druids can be very powerful and very scary. You have to get yourself in the right mindset, though. If you approach a druid like you're playing a sorcerer or a wizard, you are not going to be having, well, you may not be having as much fun as you could, or maximizing all of the excellent things that a druid can do. You have to think like nature. You know, you don't have to be cruel. You could be nice. You could be a very nice, kind-hearted. You could be the happy hippie who just wants to smoke pipe weed and lay back and relax and you know, and be a Disney princess and speak to birds and mice. You can do that. Or you could be a force of nature. Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha, Zeta. So they're being afflicted because of the things that they've encountered along the way. Trust issues. Okay, gotcha. Hey, TJ Fate, welcome. Gracie ended up with a Cat of Good Drow Light Cleric with the Inheritor background from Skag. Ended up with the flaw, the tyrant who rules my land will stop at nothing to see me killed. Way on the nose. Gracie, when you let the randomness flow, as I often say, this stuff writes itself. It's such an amazing journey you can have that tests your imagination, and it acts as a very good confidence builder for storytelling as well. All right. Back to the story. It's not hard to find. Ninja's not just of the body, but of the mind. Those were the words that the master instructed, but a letter from Shredder had Splinter abducted. Personality trait number 3. The first thing I do in a new place is note the locations of everything valuable or where such things could be hidden. Oh, cool. Thank you, Bubonic. I can show that off and Coffee Cat's miniatures here in just a little bit. His ideal is number 2. Freedom. Ooh. You know, the spy and the pickpocket spy and the blackmailer criminal are very similar in these regards. And if we're looking at the characters that we're making as a team, which we often do when we're generating a weekly story, we'll gen up 4 or 5 characters, and they're a team in some way. We find the connections between them, and then at the end of the week, we outline a campaign or just it could be a short adventure as well to take them on. And the spy also had this in mind: freedom. Chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them. You could say, whoa, hold up. We have a lawful evil character, and this clearly says in parentheses chaotic next to freedom. You literally have to take greed. You literally have to take honor. You literally don't have to. Remember, your alignment is a way that you express yourself. It's not the end-all, be-all redux of your character. A lawful evil character could very much want to oppose a tyrant or tyranny broadly. Because the lawful evil is more of a methodology, a structure, a concept. You know, our spy was lawful neutral, interestingly enough. Those who would forge them, you know, they're tyrants, they're very powerful. Maybe you have this belief that, you know, you believe in equality, and you're willing to tear down those who rise too high too quickly. Even if that person was a hero of the people, could have been a folk hero, you know, and all the people love him. But if they grow too big too fast, you've seen this before, you know what happens, and they gotta go. And that is our lawful evil you know, or, I mean, it doesn't have to be just that, but that is a take on having a lawful evil expression character with the ideal of freedom and the opposition of tyranny. Have a good night, Third Falcon. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining the conversation. And be well. We'll see you around later. I am the law. Roger, oh, I don't have it here. I have a full-sized prop replica of the Judge Dredd badge. Big piece of heavy metal. Alright, I'm following along, Zeta. Now, the bond for this character is number 5. I'm guilty... Our spy was like this, too. I'm guilty of a terrible crime. I hope I can redeem myself for it. Oh, something going on, Lost Streaming? I mean, I'm glad you're here and you're relieved to see me going, but what are you in need of relief? Did you just have a really bad day? Will this be murder as well? We could find out, Gracie. In fact, we will shortly. And our flaw is number 3. Something important was taken from me, and I aim to steal it back. Kinda? Well, you don't have to share. You don't have to share private details if you don't want to, streaming or Lost. TLSC. But you know what? If you want to vent, you're with good folk. And or if you want to just sit back and turn your brain off and listen to a story, this is the place to do so. Something important was taken from me and I aim to steal it back. Now, this could be a trinket. This could be something physical. This could be something... magical? Mundane? If we want to tie this in with the other character, what if the thing that was stolen was the manuscript? And this whole time now, we have this holy roller child of destiny who thinks that he's as such because this, you know, it could have been a forgery that was stolen. Or what if it was the life of someone important to him? The life, something important was taken from me and I aim to steal it back. As a so here's a thought experiment. As a young Bugbear, he and his sister were, I don't know, minding their own business, doing Bugbear stuff. You know, whatever normal Bugbear stuff is for kids. And his sister was murdered. Or accidentally killed. He was framed, or rather the community thought that he was the one who killed his sister. So he's guilty of a terrible crime. I hope I can redeem myself for it. Something important was taken from me and I aim to steal it back. He may now be going after the person who took her life and in exchange take his or hers. Or we have someone who maybe isn't the assassin type, right? We have a blackmailer, and you usually blackmail and apply this societal pressure, maybe on people who are more powerful, such as wizards or sorcerers, people who might be able to open up gateways to the heavens or hells or other places. And so, without resorting, I mean, we have a lawful evil person. Doesn't mean, you know, if it's justifiable, he might be willing to kill. But here we have someone who perhaps, even though he's lawful evil, says, I'm not going to kill someone over this. But what I will do is I'm going to bust my long gangly arms off, you know, blackmailing and bribing and getting someone very powerful to open a gateway to where my sister's soul is. And I'm going to go and I'm going to get my sister back. And that's going to prove that I'm no murderer. I may be a blackmailer, but I didn't kill anyone. And maybe all the people that I blackmail, I may be unscrupulous in my blackmailing and even against other bad people. But I didn't kill. That's my personal code. That's my methodology. That's the lawful nature of ourselves. And so instead of getting a murder revenge, we actually have someone who wants to blackmail his way to the top to powerful individuals who are capable of summoning celestials or demons or whatever. And so he's going to get his sister back without killing someone to prove how powerful he is and that he's no murderer. How is that for a compelling story? If we're a DM and our player character just handed us this sheet, hello, 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 hello. The story writes itself. Bring some crabs up, and the wizard drops them, so they're going about pinching ankles and such. One of the crabs, nat 20 to dodge and disarm the fighter of his greatsword. Then I said I was going to attack using the greatsword that it took him, and rolled dual nat 20s. So now he has an aggression towards crabs. That hey, you know what? Rolling with what happens at the tabletop like that, Zeta, if everyone had fun, then you know what? You got there. Those two characters could have collaborated. Coffee? Yes. In that circumstance and just generally, that's my position on most things. Coffee? Yes. Hold out my cup. Coffee, please, sir. May I have another cup? Family nonsense. All right. Well, you don't have to get into it. You know you're welcome here. And if we can act as a way to, you know, de-stress, to just relax some, take your mind off that, and engage it in something else, then welcome. Or they're friends and this guy doesn't want his friend to be punished for it. Ooh. Hey, Cake Boss, welcome. It's not an official stream until Maddie says the magic words. This stuff writes itself. So I guess in lieu of a cat butt, if there's a certain phrase, maybe we have to meet 2 or 3 conditions. So there we are. This character, I mean, did we take into aspects or into consideration that it's a bugbear or a druid? Yeah. In fact, you know what? As a druid, maybe this is what compelled us. Right? I saw a comment earlier. How do we have a 32-year-old level 20 character? We have someone who is busting his butt, doing everything it takes, lying, cheating, and stealing his way to the top to get power. To go get his sister's soul back. As a lawful evil character, mind you. So in a way, we have an anti-hero. And you know what? If you want to set it up as a big bad evil guy, then yeah, you know, it's because it seems so obvious. Oh, I hate this person. Yeah, he's the master of lies. He has his little birds and his spiders and everything everywhere. Because he does. Probably literally. And isn't that the twist of the dagger when your player characters confront this person and realize that as much of a heel as he has been, he has a moral justification. It doesn't mean it's absolved legally or the like. But you can understand his compulsion. Mixed in with his, look, I don't kill people. But I'll do everything else to him. And now the player characters could have to reckon with this if this is the big bad evil guy of the campaign. Dude just wants his sister back. And maybe he's been working the last 20 years, getting a level per year even, right? So this happened when he was 12. He's now 32 and he's level 20 because he's been busting his hump. a quick rise to power. And you know why? Because he's blackmailing his way to the top for power and influence and information. You look at this and you're like, how do we have an epic level druid? What if someone found out Rumpelstiltskin's true name? Right? You don't have to have a Fey Pact warlock to, you know, to work with the Fey. A Circle of the Land druid can be a quasi, or at least a cosmetically, a cosmetic warlock who's made a pact with nature or an aspect of nature. And if you find out someone's true name, you find out Rumpelstiltskin, and you get power from it, maybe he even knows that the power can one day kill him, but he's going to save his sister before that happens, as he should have saved her life so long ago. Can you hate a villain like that? Oh, I bet you could despise him, especially if he found dirt on your character, because he's a flaw digger. But what do you do with a villain like this? Or if you're a player character, do you have what it takes to play a character like this? You know, you may not be anything like this in your life. But could you set your scruples aside, knowing somewhere out there your sister's counting on you and you got to get this power to save her? You know, it's a compelling BBEG when the players can sympathize. He ends up ripping a hole in reality trying to get to her. Well, that may be. That may be. All right. Now, we are going to open up Volo's Guide to Monsters and figure out what a bugbear gets for being a bugbear. Before that, however, let's figure out our monstrous origin. Why aren't we with our bugbear friends any longer? Roll a d8. Number 7. Reason number 7. And that is, an evil entity corrupted your people's society. Our people fell into demon worship or Fey worship, but of course, look, Fey may have pixies and satyrs and, you know, centaurs, yay, fun woodland animal people. Fey are alien and cruel. And what if his people took up worshipping a Fey? It could even be an Archfey, right? Bunch of warlocks sprang up in the tribe. And his sister, in this case, was actually sacrificed. Oh, Gracie, you beat me to it in chat just now. Bip, 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 bip. But the cult, because maybe at the time it was a cult, right? Hid it to make it look like a murder. Framed him. He was exiled, and he went out and he started studying nature because he was going to get his revenge on that Fey son of a sap. Son of a birch tree that took my sister. And so now, maybe instead of the 9 hells, we are looking for a way to get in on the Feywild. And we're going to have a tussle. The evil entity killed his sister unbeknownst to him, and he ends up aligning with the evil powers trying to save her. And you know what? Maybe he lost streaming. That could happen. He ingratiates himself, right, to try and weave into this power. Because look, chains are meant to be broken, and as are those who would forge them. he could commit to the same cult or the same being, receive this power, but as a blackmailer, try and get this information, try and get the true name of the Archfey or the enemy of whatever it is. Again, this is a very anti-hero style character if it's a player character. Exactly, insider info. And so, you know what? He does the depraved deeds that are asked of him in exchange for power. You know, maybe within certain guidelines. Shnikes, everyone. Shnikes. What kind of a story have we just created by rolling the dice a couple times? All of this is from random dice rolls in a spreadsheet. I sincerely hope every time you come here, you discover that you have this ability inside yourself. Look at this genius story. This is a character. You could write a novel about just this character and interaction. Nice 300-page novel. A series, even, if you really wanted to. GM Vault, hey, welcome. It's not supposed to be an NPC, Zeta. We're generating a player character. Now, of course, I mean, player character NPC could be a thin line. Really, I guess it depends on which side of the screen that the person rolling the dice is on. I'm sometimes compelled to random gen a character. Coffee, it is awesome mental exercise to do so. It very much is. I already said it, but this stuff writes itself, ladies and gentlemen. All right, as a bugbear. What are we doing? We're talking about fluff and storytelling. That's not D&D. We're here to crunch numbers and do math. And if we aren't min-maxing our DPR, then we're not playing D&D, my friends. And I don't say friends literally. We're here for math, and we're here to stroke our dice towers. All right, our strength score increases by 2, and our dex score increases by 1. We already have our age, alignment, and size. Our space speed is 30 feet, giving us a 15 climb, 15 swim, 0 fly. We do get dark vision out to 60 feet. We are long-limbed. I know someone who picks spells by percentile. See, I like that. I like that sort of commitment. So instead of saying, well, you know, well, you should take Fireball. It's, you know, Fireball is statistically a better spell for the original slot you can get it than others. You're like, all right, I get it. Fireball is traditional. It does a lot of damage. Are you willing to commit your spell book to percentile rolls too? That's a good step. Maddie After Dark. I don't know who the character is, Bubonic. I would imagine you could create that character. 5th edition is very flexible. Lawful Evil. Alright, so as a race, we are long-limbed, meaning that we can make melee attacks at 5 feet out further than what we normally could. We also have a powerful build. We can push, pull, etc. More than our size category normally allows. We are sneaky. Well, all right, so this is an interesting a point of, not contention, but something to bring up with your dungeon master. If you come up with a redundancy, so for example, sneaky gives us proficiency in the stealth skill. We have stealth skill because we're a criminal. You can talk to your DM about this, and maybe your DM says, that's tough, I'm sorry. And it just evaporates. Your DM might say, you know what, I understand that. Given your character's background, drop a dot in something else that's appropriate. And if that's the case, you know, we could look through here. You know, we're a blackmailer. And so intimidation could very well be something that we take instead. Or your dungeon master might say, you know what, you're already proficient, take an expertise in it. And so you are actually expert at stealth. What does it hurt to talk to your DM about this? Right? Sure, your DM might just allow that option to evaporate and say, you know, tough noogies. Oh well. You shouldn't have picked that race and class background, as if they're punishing you for wanting to play a character you want to play. Or they can work with you, and you can end up with something that's still thematic and cool, but you're not breaking the game, especially because your dungeon master is aware of the consideration. Sleight of hand might work. Yeah, I mean, if we did that... Now, sleight of hand might have been better for the pickpocket. For this, if we're going with blackmail, I think intimidation would be the way forward on there. Expertise. You get to add your proficiency twice. It doubles your proficiency. Oh, sheeps. Oh, sheeps. It's oh, sheeps. We might have a cat on... Oh, you can see her poking around in the background. Right over my shoulder here. I don't know. We'll see. Have the cat butts prepared for chat. Expertise and persuasion, then got diplomat. Mm-hmm. Next thing I know, some bloomin' drunk druid stumbled on the cage I had been rotting in for who knows how long, taking pity on me. Double proficiency bonus into persuasion. Oh, good. Yeah. Yep. So, you know what? Let's double up on stealth. We'll be a generous DM, right? We talked about it here. Intimidation could very well work too, but let's double up on that and see where that brings us. All right, we also get surprise attack. Whoop. If we hit on our first turn. By the way, this works in animal form. Everybody, just so you know. And languages, we get common and goblin. Very good. Now we're going to well, we don't need Volo's guide any longer. We're going to head over to Druid. And we're going to put in 20 levels of Druid. Can't find any racial stats for an awakened animal in any book. Well, you could easily reskin any of the races as an awakened animal. You want to play Redwall? We'll go through all the player's handbook races, and we'll turn them into mice and rats and ferrets and moles. Who doggies, level 20. Our proficiency is 6. And we are going to know 4 cantrips. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are a full spellcaster, especially being Circle of the Land. So, this is 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Look at all those spells. Those are some good spells. We are a D8 hit die class, and we get 20 of them because we're level 20. Proficiencies. Light and medium armor and shields. So... if you want to talk to your DM about the taboo of metal, then please do so. But if we say, well, I'm going to wear ironwood, okay. I mean, you're getting the stats anyway. Does the cosmetic taboo really matter? Maybe. You know, if you want to put in a consideration. But if we're all just looking at each other and we're winking and you know, gotcha, ironwood. You're wielding a steel branch sword. It has a long sword or whatever. You know, come on. Who you kidding? Anyway, for armor and weapons, we can just put as per Druid, because they have their own unique considerations. And also, by the time we're level 20, I'm not going to worry about, you know, picking out a shield and a scimitar. By level 20, we're going to have, I don't know, some outlay of gear that we're building a character, and I'm not going to worry about the common, you know, does he have a torch? Come on. All right, we do get tool proficiencies, or a tool proficiency with an herbalism kit. And our saving throws are intelligence and wisdom. Trust the Flump, how'd your game go? Any tales from the tabletop? It was bizarre. Well, oh whoa, you have my attention. What happened at your table? Skills, choose 2 from Arcana, Animal Handling, Insight, Medicine, Nature, Perception, Religion, and Survival. Let's see. Let's go to his personality. Always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong. And I notice, oh, Perception for sure. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Freedom, I'm guilty of a terrible crime. Something important was taken from me. If we're talking about planar beings, I think this person would have spent time studying Arcana. And if it's not Arcana, remember, talk to your DM about this. So what would knowledge of this Archfey or this creature be? Would this be more Arcana or religion, or would it be nature? So really, this is a floating dot. We'll presume that as now the player, our DM said, you know what, this is probably more Arcana, because it's a magical being, and we're talking about planar travel, and that's more of an Arcana thing. Hey, that works. Nothing wrong with having a druid that is proficient in Arcana. I'm slipping a little. I drank too much. Well, cheers to you, Zeta. Nature for Fae? I'm throwing out the consideration. It could be. But, you know, the Fae could be supernatural. You know, so the knowledge of nature could help us identify 3 different species of spider and to understand the mating habits of the local deer population. But a knowledge of nature may not tell us about this sort of alien presence of the Fae. It could, but that would be for your dungeon master and you to talk about. Oh, Zeta, you are you're having a good night then. Well, here's a couple shots of water. All right, we are going to know the secret language, Druidic. However, based on what we've discussed, instead of Druidic, maybe Sylvan would be the language we get instead, right? If we're trying to learn about the Fae, a Primordial could be another good one as well. All right, casting spells, forget about it. Not worried about it. Because that comes last. When we're building our character, the numbers don't matter up front. I don't want to know the crunch. I want to know the fluff first, and then the crunch we can adapt to it, because then we have an authentic and organic character, in my humble opinion. Wild shape. Actually, I think we can technically do this infinite times. but it starts off at 2 per day. Yeah, you're wild shape an unlimited number of times by level 20. X. Y. Our Druid Circle, ability score improvement, Timeless Body. The primal magic that you wield causes you to age more slowly. For every 10 years that pass, your body ages only 1 year. Depending on when we hit 18th level, we may have a 32-year-old looking Bugbear. Our Bugbear could be well over 300 years old. Something to think about. And beast spells. Begin at 18th level, you can cast many of your druid spells in any shape you assume using wild shape. You can perform the somatic and verbal components of a druid spell while in beast shape, but you aren't able to provide material components. Almost made a druid this morning. What stopped you, Lost Streaming? All right, now, Circle of the Land. Oh, pardon me. Elder Paladin gets de facto immortality at 15. Just another way monks get screwed in the Crawford verse. Well, monks have not anti-aging, but they don't suffer any of the detriments of aging. So, you know, they have old man strength. Although, I'm not sure. What is Elder Paladin? You mean Oath of the Ancients Paladin King? We're going to get a bonus cantrip. So our bonus cantrip, we're just going to put here. Natural Recovery. This is going to give us some of our spell slots back during a rest. Land's Stride. Moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. Then we're going to get Nature's Ward. When you reach 10th level, you can't be charmed or frightened by elementals or fae, and you are immune to poison and disease. If we're becoming fae hunters, there we go. Rumpelstiltskin, watch out. We know your name, and we're coming after you. And Nature's Sanctuary. When you reach 14th level, creatures of the natural world sense your connection to nature and become hesitant to attack you. When a beast or plant creature attacks you, that creature must make a wisdom saving throw against your druid spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature must choose a different target. So this is like a soft sanctuary. We're talking. I don't know if V Bunny is in the stream. V Bunny on our Discord is making kind of a necrotic barbarian subclass version of this. All right. We are going to get some circle spells now. And so let's see, we get bonus cantrip, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. As a druid, spells prepared are going to equal our wisdom modifier plus our druid level, and we're casting off of wisdom. If this is wild shape, we have unlimited shifts, so there we go. Circle. These do not count against the number of spells that we know. So these are like the oath spells of a paladin or the domain spells of a cleric. Being the forest circle, we're going to get bark skin and spooter plume. As well, call lightning, because sometimes you got to start a forest fire, and plant growth. Divination and freedom of movement. Actually, that doesn't start until second level. We don't get first level spells. I gotta shift this forward. Oopsies. Alright, that's fine. We're gonna delete these. And commune with nature. I thought that the names weren't matching up too well. Commune with nature and tree. Oh, tree stride is such an awesome spell. There we go. And now it is time to drop the engine into our character. We see the form of our character. We've polished and accessorized it. You know, we gave it nice sparkling rims and those really cool LEDs that are replacing neon on a lot of cars. And now it's time to find out, you know, the stats that are going to make the character function in the world. We know how it will function, but now we got to provide power to it. Yeah, heat metal is a very good spell. It is. Using the standard array. Well, given we're a blackmailer here, I want to go 15. 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Yeah, heat metal is very good. This is going to give us, and you know, if you have another stat spread that you want to see, you know, throw it out there. You know, you're welcome to justify. This is the one that really spoke to me, considering the, you know, what are the skills and talents, right? So we know that the character is capable of doing these things, is functional at this because it's a part of our character. So how do we make that work then on the back end? Oh, you could put in a ton of work with heat metal. What's made of metal in a society? What do people use for weapons and armor and, you know, parts of their carriages and the buildings and such? So with that, that's going to be... oh, you know what? We get 5 stat bumps. 2 to 1 ability score or 1 to 2 ability scores. So 5 of them times 2 is 10. I think this character is in this pursuit is really going to try and increase his knowledge and his presence. You know, he'll leave his physical body to be bolstered by magic or to be bolstered by animal shapes. I really think this druid is going to be focusing on improving his knowledge to get his sister's soul back from this fae. And so I want to bring wisdom up. I'm going to use 5 of our points to bring wisdom to 20. And I'm going to dump the 6th point in strength because strength is an awesome place to dump a spare point. So now we have 4 other points. And so I want to say that we're going to put that in intelligence to understand Arcana. To learn. And that learning through deception or through being a blackmailer is really going to shine. And if we're bargaining with our DM and we're like, you know what? Maybe not being super stealthy is the way forward, and instead going for intimidation because we had to double up on stealth from being a bugbear and a criminal, that could support this build all the more. Now, if you want to keep this, right, you still stealth. You still roll stealth in your animal shape. So being super stealthy could be very important. It would depend on how you see this build and what you can come to terms with your dungeon master. Alright, so strength is 0, dex is 2, con is 0, int is 3, wisdom is 5, and charisma is 2. Yeah, hey, and Coffee Cat, you could probably even use that spell for crafting. I'm open-minded. If you can describe it, if you can somehow conceptualize it and explain it, I'm open-minded to that. All right, what do we have? We have 0 strength, 0 athletics, 2 down the line in dex, with the exception of stealth, which is 8. Con is 0. Int is going to be 9, and Arcana is 9. Everything else is 3 because we are learned. Wisdom is 11, and Perception is 11. Everything else is 5. And Charisma is 2 down the board except Deception and Intimidation, which is 8 and 8. We carry the passive Perception up. That's 10 plus our Perception modifier. So that is a 21 passive Perception. Whoops, our Survival's 5. There we go. We are very passively aware of what's happening around us, and I think that fits the character very well. Initiative is a dex check, so +2. Armor class, do we cast bark skin? Are we an animal? Do we do both? There's a lot of variables. And so for our armor class, bees? Question mark? Bees? Maybe bees are our armor class. Who knows? We're a druid. We do weird stuff. He's earned a name, by the way. He's no longer a set of stats just hovering in the name slot. So if you're thinking of names for this bugbear, his natural born name, maybe he received a druid name, you know, a true name in some fashion, or he calls himself the Fey Hunter or something along those lines. You could throw out some suggestions. Hit points. At level 1, we get 8, because that's our hit die. Now, for the remaining 19 levels, it's half plus 1, which is 5. And then for every level, so all 20 of them, we get bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier, and that's going to be some easy math, because that's times 0. And this is going to be 95. Plus 8, we have 103 hit points. Although, I mean, look, we can keep turning into animals, so we have unlimited hit points, if you think about it. Shh. 103 hit points. If we're attacking with our spells, we have a plus 11 to hit, and to resist their effects, a 19. Right? Because it's simply 8 plus the attack modifier. We come down here to plus 11 and a 19 to resist, and our druid spells prepared are going to equal 25. And so every morning when we wake up after a long rest, throughout all 9 levels of our spells, not including our cantrips, we can put 25 spells in here. Our circle spells do not count. So we can sprinkle 25 different spells throughout here every time we wake up. And, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves, despite the, to fill in a name, we have ourselves a finished character. And a compelling character, an awesome character. Powerful not just with abilities and dice rolls. Yeah, that happens. Congratulations, you're endgame D&D. You get big numbers. Everyone gets them. I don't want to poo-poo it because it's your build. But we have an awesome character. A story. Something that's compelling. Something that not everyone gets. Everyone gets a +5 modifier with a 20 ability score. This is not unique and this is not special. Not at all. You know what's special? Though nothing here said it, at the same time it spoke loudly that our sister was sacrificed by a cult to an Archfey that we must now infiltrate and blackmail to get our sister's soul back from the Feywild. That, my friends, is what makes your character special. Not the 20 wisdom score. Not the fact that you wield a scimitar and a shield. Those can add a little bit of flavor, depending on the accessories. But this is what makes your character special. Right here, page 2 of this sheet. Bing, 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 bing. Streaming says Brunheide the Nameless could be an alias or something. I'm super tired tonight for some reason, so have a good stream, Maddie. Oh, sheeps. If you think you can stay awake just a little bit longer, I am popping open 2 boxes of minis for Trust-a-Flumph. If you gotta go to bed, though, I understand. Brunheide the Nameless. Alright, then. You got it, Lost Streaming. Ta-da. Alright, so oh sheeps. Get up and stretch or something. I gotta refill my water. It is severely low. Give me like 5 minutes. Oh sheeps. And when we come back, we'll pop open these boxes for Trust-a-Flumph. Just let me know what it is, Coffee Cat, and we can talk about it.